Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this scripting in ServiceNow series, as of now, we have covered the three different topics, right? Just to recap before proceeding with the next topic, I just wanted to recap. That means what are the things as of now we have covered, right? So first three topic I have already covered. And I'm expecting you that you have already gone through those videos. If not, it's a mandatory and recommended from my side that please go and watch that first before watching this, right? And in this video I'll be talking about the client side scripting and what are the subtopics I'll be covering. Here I have already listed down all the 10 subtopics I'll be covering under the client side scripting, which is a very important, guys. Once you understand this client side scripting, definitely you will not face any kind of issue while writing a client side script. Means client side script, not only client side script, maybe UI policy, maybe you have to write a ajax call, UI script, what is the objective, where you can write, when you can write, how you will decide in between a client script and UI policy. These all questions you will get an answer from this module. So I'm 100% sure once you watch this client side scripting module very carefully without skipping the video, then definitely you will not require any additional help to achieve your requirement while working on solutions. I have received many requests that hey, I'm working on this requirement, could you please help me how to write a client script and blah blah things and stuffs, right? So just bear with me and watch very carefully client side scripting series. Basically this is a sub series, I can say. This is going to be more than 10 videos, right, under the client side scripting. Don't worry guys, I will be covering from very basic level to advanced level. Okay, but before proceeding with this video, guys, it's my humble request. You have, if you have not watched, sorry, if you have not subscribed my channel, it's my humble request. Please subscribe it so that it will motivate me that to make a video on the different topic. And especially in my almost all video, I used to say that if you want me to make a video on any different topic. You want me to cover that, please write email and message me wherever you want to reach, that I can make a video for you. Fine. Fine guys, then let's move. So first things I'll be discussing in client side scripting, that client side scripting objective. What will be our objective from this client side scripting? Why we have to write a client script, right? So I have written down six objective over here. That there could might be a chance, that means there might be a more, but very important one which I have written over here, right? So the first point which I have written, that we will understand the purpose of client side scripting, why we need this, right? As I said, like I'll be covering from very basic level. So first we will understand the purpose of client script, why we need client script in service now, right? So we will get answer for this from this module, right? Second point I have written down, that we'll see how we can do the troubleshooting. Like while writing the script, definitely you will make a mistake, right? And let's say you have written a very big code and it was very difficult for you to do the troubleshooting. Then what is the efficient way to do the troubleshooting, that we will see in this video. Fine. Third point I have written down, we'll see how to create, test, and debug. Again, it's like how to create your script, how can you can test it, because first level unit testing you have to perform before handing over to your testing team, right? And if they have find some bug, how you can debug, we will see in this video. Not in this video, in my upcoming videos. Fourth point I have written, that we'll see from very basic level to advanced level coding. So as I said that I'll be covering a very basic level to advanced level. So if you know little bit client side scripting, this series also be going to be a beneficial for you. And if you don't know anything about the scripting, just bear with me, watch all the videos. Definitely you will get hands on, and you will get a good knowledge from this series. Fifth point which I have written, that we'll see use of glide form and glide user API in a script. So these two are very very common API we will be using while writing our client side scripting. We have many, but we have others APIs also, but these two API is the most of the case, means I can say 90% of the case we will be using a G underscore form, that is a glide form, and G underscore user, that is the glide user API. We'll see in details, don't worry. Sixth point which I have written, that a script with practical and real world scenario. So a script means like whatever the things I'll be explaining you, definitely I'll be writing down the real time scenario which I have faced. I'll be not writing something that means I have not faced. Definitely, I'll be writing a real world scenario which I have faced, that how we can tackle and what is the best solution if you are going to face the similar kind of requirement. So that will help you to give you the clarity about how you can write a client script, right? Now the second one, so now I hope you have understood, that means from this client side scripting, what are the output you are going to get, right? So whenever you are dealing with the form at the browser level, definitely you have to deal with the client side scripting, right? So for that, it is very very important which client script you are going to write, what kind of code you are going to write. It is a very very important, because you have to see if you are writing a code and it is taking too much time to execute that code, right? So you have to think about the time complexity based on your code, how much time it is taking, all those stuff. You have to write a best practices code, right? Fine. So, just now we have understood, that means what are the objective from this client side scripting module we will be getting. And let's say, let's understand in this video itself, guys. That means introduction to a scripting, sorry, client side scripting means like client side scripting execute user within a user's browser. As I said, like client side script will execute at the browser level. Whenever will form will load, that time we have to deal with our client side scripting. Client side scripting, I'm not talking about the only the client script, guys. We have a UI policy also, UI script also. So what types of client script you are using, client side scripting you are using, you have to be aware. If you are using a wrong client side scripting, then definitely it is going to increase your complexity level, and it will be a time consuming, which is not recommended. Fine. So as I have written, that means client side script execute within a user's browser, and and are used to manage form and form field. We can perform below activity at the client end. So once the data will load, basically client side will work on the browser, right? So here, the what are the activity we can perform using a client side scripting? Here I have written again, and I have drilled down little bit more, that to place the cursor in the form and on the form load. So place the cursor. Cursor means like if you want to highlight some field while form loading, you can do that kind of activity also. Means here in this module, what I'm trying to say over here, that means what are the activity we can perform, right? How we can perform, that is the different thing that we will come that it will come in the later state. In the later video I will explain how you can perform it, but here I'm just talking about the activity, what are the activity we can perform. So we can place the cursor. Cursor means like we can while form loading itself, if we want to highlight, let's say service offering, so here we can put the cursor using a client script or client side scripting, I can say. We can generate the alert confirmation and message also. So this is kind of alert we can generate, and confirmation message like are you sure want to submit this form, something like that, we can generate the confirmation message also, and normal message also like this. Fine. So, third point which I have written, that activity we can perform populate a form field in response to another field value. So, what we can do using a client script itself, that we can copy from one field value to another field value. We can put the static value also while form load. So, means I mean to say that we can just set the value in any particular field, whether it is coming from the server side and you are putting a static value. We can use the script and we can set the value. So basically we can set the value, we can get the value also. So highlight a form field. So as you can see here, this is a highlighter, so we can highlight while loading the form. So that kind of activity also we can perform. Validate form data. So definitely that is the main important thing, that before sending our data to the server, we have to make sure that whatever the mandatory information we have to get from the users before making a call to server, we should have in our hand, right? So validation, that will come under the form validation, so we can do the form validation as well. We can modify the choice list. So let's say in the based on the logic or conditions, let's say if someone is loading the form and a state value we want to change from x to y, and if we want to hide the x value and we want to show the y value, so that kind of activity also we can perform. Hide and show field or sections. So definitely means hiding and so hide and show field value, even a form section also you can do so. So this kind of activity, if you are in your requirement, if it is there, then definitely without thinking, without hesitation, you have to think, that means I have to write a client side scripting. We have to not write a server side script, right? So these are the 6 7 activity I have written. If it is there in your requirement, to place the cursor, hide and show the field value, and the hide and show the form section and the field, all this activity, you just directly think, that means okay, I have to write a client side scripting. Now the question is, which side scripting I have to choose. That we will see how, based on the which criteria, we can write what kind of client script. I hope you understood, guys. So this is just for a beginning for the client side scripting. I hope you gone through. I hope you understood. That means what are the things I'm going to cover, and where and what kind of functionality we can achieve, and what kind of activity we can achieve from the client side scripting. Fine. In the next video, guys, we will see that client side scripting design and processing. So this is the very important topic, guys, for the client side scripting. Fine, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you have not liked and subscribed my channel, please do so. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about client-side scripting design and processing. So this topic is going to help you to decide what kind of a script you have to write when you come across different scenario. But before proceeding with this topic, guys, in let's recap what we have covered in our previous video, right? In previous video I have explained that what are the things we are going to cover under the client side scripting, right? So these are the different 10 topics which I'll be covering, right? I have already explained to you, and I have already talked about the client side scripting objective, means what will be our objective and what will we will be getting output from this client side scripting module, right? And the last one which I have covered, that introduction to client side scripting, means what are the activity we can perform at the client side or at the browser level, right? That we have already covered. If you have not watched it, please go and watch that first. So in this topic, guys, I'll be explaining you, that means how and yeah, like how we can decide which script I have to use, right? So I here for some sentence I have written down, guys, over here, like client side processing depend on the form loading first, right? Making a records update prior to form load can produce unexpected result that bypass the client side scripting. So let's say if you have written some kind of a script which is getting executed before loading the form, right? If it before loading a form, if you have written something, then it will give you, definitely it will give you the unexpected result, right? Because data is just still loading and you wanted to process something, so that should not happen, right? So that this is the one kind of scenario that where we can tackle what in the if you will come across this kind of scenario, that means how you can tackle it, right? So I have written down some scenario, and it definitely is going to be very very useful to you, that to decide means at what level and what scenario we can write which kind of a script, right? So let's talk about some useful stuff over here. So point number A, I have written that minimize the server call or lookup. So what does it mean by minimize the server call? So we are you will be saying, hey Runjay, I'm not right now we are learning only client side scripting, so why you are talking about the server call, right? So basically a server call we have to talk, right? Because if we, let's say on the form data is not present, so we have to bring that data from the server side, right? So we have to make a call, but when we have to make a call, how we have to make a call, that we have to understood, right? So let's say first point which I have written, that try to use the client data as much as possible to eliminate the server call. That is the first step. So wherever it is possible, if data is present on the client side at the browser level, then try to use that data to fulfill your requirement. If data is not present, and then on that case, how we can use that, I have written down the second point. So let's say client scripting uses either data available on the form or retrieves it from the server. If data is available on the form, well and good, we can take it and we can utilize it. If it is not available, let's call our server and we will get the data. How we are going to call, we should not write a kind of directly a glide record. So to make a call, we have a asynchronous call, that is a glide ajax, that I have a different separate topic in details, because this is the very very important one I will cover in details. So glide ajax, we can make a asynchronous call and we will get the data. That is the first way to get the data from the server. The second step, we can use the g underscore as scratchpad. This is a variable which is available at the server side as well as the client side. So in the server side, we will store the data, and same it will be available. How we can make it available, we will see in this video itself. That means how we can use a g underscore a scratchpad to get the data from the server. And the third point which I have written, that guys, that a glide record and g underscore form dot get reference, these two method we should avoid it. Personally I have not written these two method in the client side scripting. You can write system will allow you to write a glide record in the client side scripting, but this is not recommended. This will make a extra call to your server, which is not recommended. This will take a extra time to get a data from the server, right? So these are also used for retrieving a data from server. However, this method are not recommended. As I said, it is not recommended. If it is, there is no other choice, then we can use it. Otherwise, as I said, like we can make a glide ajax and we can get the data. This will also make a call to server side, right? So hope you understood. So our main objective will be to minimize the server call. So this will take a extra time to go to server, fetch the data, and bring it back to client side, right? So we, wherever it is possible, we should avoid to make a server call. Fine. Hope you guys understood. Now the second point in this, I have written that retrieve server data using a g underscore a scratchpad. Fine. So retrieving a data using a g underscore a scratchpad, how we can get it? So as I said, this variable is available at the client side as well as the server side. So in server side, we will set the value, and in the client side we can get the value. So let's say, let's understand the one real world scenario. So let's say if we know that, that means what kind of information we required from the server side, and that information is not present in the client side, that we have to make a call and we have to get the data while loading the form, right? So we are very certain on that case we can use a g underscore a scratchpad variable. So same thing I have written down, guys, over that if you know what information are required from the server before the form loaded, then we can create a display business rule to hold the information using a g underscore a scratchpad. If we are not certain, that means if it will be a dynamic value, then on that case definitely we will be not using a g underscore a scratchpad. But if we are very certain, then on that case definitely we will be using a g underscore a scratchpad variable. Let's understand with the real world scenario with the one requirement. So this requirement is going to apply on the change request form. Fine. So what is the requirement now? Let's understand. If logged in user is a member of cab approval group, then enable the field over here, right? So we know that if we have to find it out whether the logged in user is a member of cab approval or not, whether it should give me yes or no, right? If we have a variable available on the form, definitely we are not going to make a call, right? But let's say that variable is not available on the form, we have to get this information from the server, right? So we have to check whether the logged in user is a member of cab approval or not. If they are member of cab approval, we have to enable these three field on the form. Fine. So solution, what I have written down, don't worry guys, I will be explaining you with the practical scenario also. So here we will be checking. So let me explain the code first, which I have written. Which this is a very simple code, guys. The solution which I have written that create a display business rule on change request table with below code. Okay, so this is the one line of code which we have to write, and it will give us the this variable will be available on the client side, right? And the second one, second point which I have written, that create a onload client script on change request table with the below code. So this is also, don't worry guys, I'll be explaining you in details while writing the code. So these two script, this script will be used at the server level to set the value, and this script will be used to get the value, and in order to decide what we have to do. I have just as per the requirement we have to enable this. So we have to check if he, if the logged in user is a member of this, then enable this one. So let's jump to the practical scenario, guys. So let me go to here the change request, right? So here is let's say, or let me open instead of creating a new one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create, open the existing anyone. So let me open this one. Fine. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to write a business rule, and then I'm going to write a client side scripting as mentioned in the solution here. So first let's create a display business rule we have to write, right? Because don't worry guys, business rule I'll be talking about in details when I'll be covering a server side scripting. So for now definitely I'll be explaining you that what are the code I'm going to use, that I'll be explaining you. Don't worry if you are not getting then just leave it as of now for the server side. But client side escaping, definitely you have to uh, get the things right. Now in parallel what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a client script also. I don't know, it is taking this much time. What could be the reason? Maybe my network would be slow. So this is a business rule, right, guys? So get uh, let's say is member of cab. Okay, cab approval, right? This is the name I have given each member of cab approval, and type of business rule, as I said, like we have to write a display business rule. We have four types of business rule. So in this display business rule, as you can see here, there is no um, operations will be visible, as because we don't want to do any operation, just we want to fetch the data from the server side. And in the advanced script, what we will be writing, so let's jump over here, and this one line of code we will be using, right? So I'm just putting it over here. So let me just save it, then I will explain you in details, right? So save this. So this will be our business rule, and let's go to the client side scripting, and here on the client side I'm going to just write a client script, right? So this is the way I used to write a code, guys. So instead of going through the left navigation directly, I used to open the table and will do so. Let me just disable this. I think I have already written, so let me open this. Enable field for cab approval. Okay, to save our time, guys, I have already written this one. So yeah, here is the things. Then we have a cab approval, let's say yes and no. Let's give like this variable. Okay, and I'm just completing my steps, guys, so that it will be fast. Okay, so I have already covered this one. Fine. So yeah, it is available now. So guys, now let's understand from the first business rule. So business rule I have written on the change request form. I have enabled the advanced view, and when to run condition I have just put it the when run display on the display business rule. So here this is the variable, guys. So this is the, you have to remember this g underscore a scratch pad. So this variable is the out of the box variable which we have to use. After that we just put the dot, and this is your field name. So whatever field name let's say if you want to give something like this, then same field name you have to use it over here also to get the value, right? As simple as that. So let me go back, just cab approval yes or no. So this is my variable, right? So this I can give what as per our nomenclature I can give. So this will hold, what it will hold, as you can see here, equal to, it is giving gs dot get user. So this will give the information about the logged in user, who is the logged in user, right? So this will give, because it's a server side script, so gs will walk over here. So gs dot get user dot I have given that each member of is a function, and if you pass inside the group name, then it will give you whether logged in user is a member of this group or not. So definitely, so prerequisite for this group name should be there in your instance, otherwise it won't work. So let me just cross validate over here. So let's go to groups, and here just paste the name cab approval. As you can see here, it is already available, so I'm just checking based on the name itself, right? So this will give us the result true or false. True or false it will give. Fine. So I hope you understood this one line of code, that gs dot get user, it will give the logged in user information. Each member of is the predefined method which will give whether it is a member of this group or not. So now let me copy this variable, because same variable I have to use in our client script, right? So before that I was using different, so let me just paste it over here. So again in the client script also, what I have done, I have created one variable over here, right? So this is member of cab approval, this is a local variable, and equal to g underscore a scratchpad, same variable name I'm using it, everywhere you have to use the same name, right? So g underscore a scratchpad and dot cab approval yes or no. So this is the variable which I have used over here, so this one you have to use it, right? As I explained, so this once you use it, you will get the information from the server to client side. Now our result is available in this variable. So I'm checking it is a member of cab approval or not. If it is a member of cab approval, then g underscore dot set read only. Read only, guys, it will set the field value. It will give the field value name over here. Cab underscore delegate is the field value which as per our requirement, right? This one I'm just setting for this cab delegate. I will cross verify for you. Let me just open it the change. Right, so okay, let me open the new existing one, guys. I'm just closing the group over here. So let me open this one, right? So there is a field called cab one, right? So where it is? Yes, under the schedule section, form section, we have a cab required or not, or cab delegate. So this one we are using. So what we are going to show is, so cab underscore delegate is the one, right? So here cab underscore delegate, we will be making a false, means we are making a read only. False means you should not edit the field. If it is a false, then it will execute the else, and it will make it true, means you can edit the form. If you just you can see here, here is the flag. If you are passing a false, that means you will be not able to edit that field. If you are passing as a true, that means you will be able to edit that field. Fine. So it's simple is that. So in this first time we are using this g underscore form dot set read only. So just remember, this function will be used to set read only and make it read only or non it read only. So if you are passing a true, it will make the read only. Else it will if true is there, then it will make it non read only. Fine. So let's examine the our result. I'm just going to save this. And even if we want to see what value it is coming, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the alert also, right? I have already explained all this alert, right? So I'm just going to use this alert and put this value, and we'll see that means what value it is coming from the front end, sorry, from the back end, right? Now let's load the form. We'll see it is coming false, so it is not a member of group, right? It is not a member of group, then it is making a for read only. You can't edit it. You see, if I'm typing it, it's not allowing to edit the field. So same, got it, right? So here, this is a false, so this will not execute, this will execute true, means it will set the read only. And if you will make it non, if you want to make it not read only, sorry guys, I think I have explained you wrongly. If it is a true, then it will make a read only. If it is a false, then it will make a editable field. I'm so sorry guys to make you confusion. So here the thing is, g underscore form set dot read only, give the field name. Here will be your field name, and here true means it will make the read only. Fine, means it will not allow you to edit the steps. So let's say what I am going to do, if I will just remove this, let me remove this, okay, and let me check on this case what it will happen. It should be read only because I'm not setting it, right? So if I will reload, it's taking little time, guys. Yeah, so it again, it is coming false. So false, as you can see here, and right now I can write something over here, right? So it's working fine. So let me just put it back so that it will, the script will execute as per our logic, right? So if I will save it again, then it will work as per our expected result. So our whole idea over here is that how we can use a g underscore a scratchpad variable if we want a value from the server side, right? In this case, we were sure that we want to check whether the logged in user is a member of cab approval or not, so that we have done this activity. Correct? Thank you guys. Hope you understood. And see you in the next video. In next video, we will talk about some more useful stuffs, right? And thank you. Thanks for watching. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about one very important function which is available at client side scripting, that is a set value. We will see how we can use and what is the purpose for this method, right? So I have written down some point that the set value method will be used to set the field value, right? So if we want to set a value on a particular field, we can pass some parameter, and we can pass the value whatever we want to set. So it accept three parameter where two are mandatory and one is optional. We'll say that what are the two parameter are mandatory, and what the third one is optional, right? We'll see with the practical, so don't worry. So first let's go one by one with the pointers. The second point which I have written, guys, that when using a set value on reference field, basically if it is a input field and others types of data types of field, then it's okay, we can use it. But whenever we are talking about the reference which is pointing to some other table, like assignment group assigned to field, these field are a reference field which will hold the value from the different table. So if you are setting a value for a reference field, so it's a very important that the third parameter which I was talking about, you should pass to avoid to making a server call. That we will see with the live example, guys. But for setting just make sure that means whenever you are setting a reference field value using a set value method, then you make sure that means you are passing a third parameter as well, that is your name of that value, field value. Okay, we'll see that. Third point, I have written that if you set the value without the display value, so then on that case what it will happen, it will accept, as I said, like two parameter are only mandatory and one is optional. But in reference, if you are setting a value for the reference field, then what it will happen, if you are not giving the third parameter, it will make a one extra call to server and it will bring the display name, basically for that particular CSID of that attribute. Okay, so in this case it is recommended to use the third parameter which is optional, although it is optional, but for reference field we should use the third parameter as well, right? Let's see with the one example. So in this case system will make a extra call in this case. So what code I have written, that one variable, let's jump to the this one, mm, practical scenario. We will see whether in which case it is making extra call. So our requirement is to set the assigned to field value. We'll take just a demo one. So I have already written the code over here. This is the client script code, and which is running on onload on table called incident, right? So onload client script I have written over here, and the code which I have written, that very first I have given the sysid value. This sysid is nothing but our sysid value, as you can see here. So this is our sysid for this users. Okay, now then name which I have given, that is Runjay Patel. Okay, if you can see that name, that means Runjay and Patel, this will come under the name, right? Now let's say if in this code g underscore set value, so as you can see here, this is the one parameter and this is the second parameter. So let me remove this name field. Okay, as I said, like for set value, uh, only two parameter are mandatory. That is the first parameter which will keep your this let me just copy this, because this method is going to use very frequent, guys, so that's why I'm explaining in details. So the first parameter which will take your field name, so assigned to is nothing but a field name. So if you can go over here and talk about this one, then this is the assigned to, I assigned underscore to. So same field I have used over here, so this will become your field name, and this is your value. So what value you want to set, then that will become your value, right? So in this case, sys id is a variable, and this will become a value. So instead of putting a variable, you can directly put this sys id also, like this. So here it will become a value, directly value you are putting. But as I said, this is the reference field. As you can see here, it is pointing to users table, right? It will select from the users table. So this is the reference field, and if you can see here over here in dictionary, and let me just show you field type. As you can see here, type is the reference. So whenever you are setting a value for reference field, you have to make sure that means you are giving your third parameter also, that is your display value. So what is the display value for this is the name, right? So this name you have to pass. And what is the display value for configuration item? If I will select over here, then name would be the display value, right? So this is the display value you have to pass. There are many fields. All fields are not a display value. As you can see, manufacturers are also their class location assigned to. These all fields are there, but these fields are not a display value. Display value means only one field it would be there for every tables, right? While creating a table, that time you have to specify what would be your display value. If you are not giving anything, system by default it will take. Okay, so in this case, our name is the display value, correct? And in this case, what I'm going to do, so here is the name. So again, same way, if I will pass like this as a third parameter. So this third parameter means this is a optional. But whenever you are setting a reference field, you have to make sure that means you are giving your display value for that particular table also. Fine. If you are not giving, this code will work perfectly, okay, without making any server call, without making any server call, right? But if you will write like this, same thing, both will work. Then this case, system will make a server call to get the display value. Got it? If you are not giving, then no problem, system will do for you. So this will take an extra time to get the display value from the server. So you have to avoid this kind of coding. Our main agenda from this topic is to avoid making a server call, right? As I have explained in the very beginning that we have to minimize our server call, right? So here, if you are writing a like this, if you are setting a value, and you are setting a value for any reference field, and you are not giving a third parameter, then definitely it is going to be a performance issue. Okay, so this is not recommended. If you write a code like this and it will come for me for code review, definitely I'm not going to accept that, because definitely I'll be asking you, hey, why you have not given the third parameter? You should give the third parameter also. Fine, and let me just showcase you whether it is working or not. So assigned to value, we are just setting the this value, right? So if I will load the form, then it will set the assigned to value. In this case, we are setting it statically. That means Runjay Patel, I have set it assigned to over here. Got it, guys? So in previous video, I have say explained that how you can make it read only using a set read only field method. I have explained. In this video, I have explained you how you can set the value in a particular field, right? In next video, we will see we have to avoid our DOM manipulation. What is DOM manipulation? We will see in the upcoming video. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. It's really helped me or motivate me to make a video on the different topic also. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about that how we can avoid DOM manipulation at the client end, right? You might have some requirement to do some kind of activity at the client place, but which is not possible using any a script on any API call. On that time, you might be going with the DOM manipulation, right? But what we have to do, if there is no alternative solution for your requirement, except writing a DOM manipulation, except doing a DOM activity, then on that case you can go, but it will create your maintainability issue, right? Whenever you are doing a upgrade and whenever your browser is getting upgrade, on that case it might, this functionality might get break. So that's why we have to avoid as much as possible while writing a code, basically while doing a DOM manipulation. I would personally, I would not recommend to write a DOM manipulation code in order to achieve your requirement, right? So same thing I have written down, guys. So DOM manipulation, basically it says like a document object model. Short form, it is a DOM manipulation if possible. So if it is, there is no alternative solution is available, then only we have to do with the DOM manipulation, right? So then what is the alternative solution? How we can achieve this, right? If we are not going to do DOM manipulation, let me explain you guys what is DOM manipulation. Basically, on the browser, once the form will get loaded, it will have something like HTML code, right? Like ID, class, form tag, all these stuffs we have. Using that selector, if you know the JavaScript and jQuery, we can apply a CSS, we can get the value using a selector field, like a dollar dot, if you put id dot val, then you will get the value. That is called a DOM manipulation, right? At the browser level. So I'll be explaining you that with the practical scenario also. So how we, what is the alternative solution for this? If we don't want to write a DOM manipulation, then what could be the alternative solution? So alternative solution, we can use the glide form API, basically, right? So if a glide form API also is not solving your purpose, then I think you have to go with the DOM manipulation, because your client is very I can say your client wants that functionality, and that functionality we cannot achieve it via the glide form. Then you can go ahead and write the DOM manipulation, but you have to inform to your client that means this is not the best practice as per the service now, due because you are asking to have this functionality, so we are writing a DOM manipulation code. So it will definitely it may break. I'm not saying that means is 100% it will get break when you are upgrading your browser or upgrading your ServiceNow instance. It may break, but it's not 100% true. Okay, fine. Then what is let's talk about some requirement that the client is asking us to do so, right? So client, what client is asking: disable or hide the attachment icon if a state of incident equal to close. It means that if a incident get closed, we will not allow end user to upload any document, right? Basically we have to hide the attachment icon, right? So that is the requirement here. Let me just open the incident. So this is an incident form, so I'm talking about this one. Okay, so this is the one, sorry guys, I think something I have pressed it. So this is the one uh, icon, attachment icon, we have to hide it. Okay, this is our objective. So but when we have to hide it, when a state will be closed, then we have to hide it, right? This is the requirement asked by the client. So how we can do so? For solution, what I have done, that means I have created a onload client script on the incident table. Okay, this is the first step which we have to do. Now we can hide attachment icon using a DOM manipulation, which is not recommended. I have written down, that means we can hide the attachment using a DOM manipulation, but that is not recommended. But in this video I will show you, if you want to go through any DOM manipulation, then how you can do so, right? So for that, guys, I have already written the code called here hide attachment, okay, to just save our time. And here I have applied this onload client script on the incident form, right? So on the onload, what I am doing over here, as you can see here, g underscore form dot get value state. So this is the, again let me explain you this piece of code, what it will does. It will basically um, it will get your value, whatever the value selected on the state field, it will give you that value. Let's say right now I have selected the in progress, so it will give me the in progress. So what value it will give you? So that internal value, it will not give you the in progress keyword. So what it will give you, so let's say what I have done, just right click and inspect element, and this is the selector, right? So this is the my way I can check whenever the drop down value I wanted to check. I used to do like this. So for in progress, as you can see here, value is 2. So you will be getting a 2. So this value you will be getting. You can check a different way also, like right click and just show choice or configure choice. You can say let's say I'm just doing a show choice, it will give me the whole choice value of that, right? So here it will give you the all choice, but you have to go for the incident one, right? So it's up to you how you are checking. And if you want to check based on the like this one dictionary way also, you can check it, right? So it's up to you how you are checking the internal value, right? So now in this this will give the selected value basically, right? It will give the selected value of a state field. Fine. So what I'm doing here, if selected value for the state equal to 7. So what is the 7? So let me check what is the 7. 7 means just expand it, or 7 means close. As you can see here, 7 is close, right? So we will be getting a 7 over here. So if 7 is there, if 7 value is selected, means state is closed, then I'm just writing a one line of code that g underscore form dot disable attachment. This is the out of the box functions, guys. We can use it instead of using a um, what can I say, a DOM manipulation. This is not a DOM manipulation, guys. This is the normal process. This is the uh, recommended approach to do your activity. But let's say some function we are doing, we are working on one requirement which is not possible using a DOM manipulation, sorry, using not possible using a glide form API. So on that case, what I have to do, we have to write a DOM manipulation. So this is a DOM manipulation, guys. So here how we can get the value, as you can see here, document dot get element by id. This is the function, you can use it, okay? And here under this you just pass id, because here the document dot get element by id, this id you have to pass it. Now you will be telling here, Runjay, how you are getting this id, how I can identify this id, I have to put it, right? Don't worry, let me explain you how we can do so. So just right click over here, go to inspect, okay? And inspect, just click on this icon over here, okay? Here, and then you just put it over here, a state, right? So just put it over here, a state, then you will be getting over here this one. It will make you read only over here, right? This, okay? Sorry, we wanted to do for the this one, this icon I did it for the state. So again, same activity you have to do. First click on this, select an element page which is coming, so this corner one, okay? And then just click on over here, okay? So now it means this is the code, basically internal code, HTML code, which is written for this icon, okay? So and the, if you can see here, if I'm just moving my cursor over here, it is also getting selected. If you can see that icon, then it is something, it in shadow it is coming, right? Something like that. See, then here in the button id, as you can see here, this is the id which I'm using, because if I will use this id, then I can perform activity on this. So header underscore add underscore attachment, right? So same I have written down over here, means I'm getting a based on the id. So this is becoming our selector, okay? This is becoming our selector, that particular this one I have selected, right? So this one I have selected, and how you can do so? So from here you can have this, and this is the step. I'm just doing a copy ID one. Okay, fine. So now we got the ID for this. Now whether we want to hide it or not. So basically, how we have to do, we have to apply some kind of CSS. So let if you know the CSS on the web technology, then it will be helpful for you. Otherwise, you have to go and learn something related to CSS. CSS means cascade a style set for applying a DAM manipulation. So what I'm going to do, so let's say if I will type display, and here if I will be saying none, as you can see here, it is getting hide. So this CSS I have to apply on dynamically using a code. So from here only I am checking whether it is working or not. So display none we have to apply, right? So I'm not writing over here. Okay, so this is for temporary. Once you reload the form, it will not affect, because for this you have to write the code. Now let's go back to our code. So what code we have written, again back, come back over here. So what code we have written, that this one. Let me just remove the other stuff over here, right? And this is for something different I have written, guys. So I'm just commenting this out. So how you will apply the same activity, as I said, display is equal to none, then in the code how you will apply. So till here you have selected, right? That means I'm going to apply on the attachment icon, and here what you are going to apply means this is the style, means CSS I'm going to apply. So I have written the style dot display. Dot display, this is the keyword I was using, guys. So display, right? This one, so display, and then what value I was using, none value I was using, means it will hide it. Okay, so this is for hiding hiding the selected ID, basically. So whatever the ID this for, so this is basically a button ID, so that button it will get hide over here. But let's say sometime on the we get some other such stuff also. If there is if 7 is not there based on certain condition, we have to display it also. So instead of none you can just type a block. So block, it will display your icon over here. So in this requirement we have to hide it, so I'm just putting a none. So I'm just doing it and save this, right? So this is called a DOM manipulation, guys. Here we have done a DOM manipulation instead of writing our glide form API, right? So this is not recommended, basically, right? So now let's test it now, guys. So if I will, I have to open any incident which is the in closed state, right? So here the very first one, it is there, guys. So let me open it. In this case, attachment should get hide, right? As you can see here, now it is not visible, so you cannot add the attachment over here, right? And let me showcase you for other incident which is under some in. Let me open this one which is in progress. It should display, right? Because on we are checking the condition based on the state condition, we are just doing we are hiding this attachment. So you got it. So now the perfect solution, this is not the perfect solution. So this is working, although this is working, but this is not a perfect solution. So what would be the perfect solution? So we have a, for hiding a attachment, we have a predefined function. So if we'll just put like this, g underscore form dot see disable the attachments. So we have a predefined function. If predefined function is not available, then we can go ahead with the DOM manipulation. Let's say we wanted to hide something else, like we have some button and we wanted to hide and other stuffs also, like if we want to hide this one. So for, I don't think so for this it would be some function would be there, so we have to go with the DOM manipulation only, right? So let me showcase you that means this will also work, and I'm just saving. I have just commented this out and I have enabled this one. so it should work, right? Let me just reload the form. Still it is reloading. Once it is done, then I will reload this form, which is the close state, right? So done, and now I'm reloading this one. In this case also it should hide the attachment icon, right? So as you can see here, it already get hided, and means this is also working. So wherever this DOM manipulation is applicable, if there is no glide form API available, on that case you don't have any choice, you can go ahead. Fine guys, hope you understood. That means what I'm trying to say over here, but in the most of cases, please try to avoid the writing a DOM manipulation code. Thank you. Thanks for watching. And one more thing, guys. So if you are writing a DOM manipulation over here, so what you have to do basically, this is the mandatory step which you have to do. That isolated a script must be selected as false. By default, this is one attribute on the client a script form. So let me just open it, client script form. Then you will understood. So this is the very important one if you are going with the DOM manipulation, else your DOM manipulation things will not work. So as you can see here, so isolated a script, I have made it false. That's why this DOM manipulation code is working. If you have enabled this one, if it is a true, then your DOM manipulation code will not work. So we have to make sure, that means if you are writing a DOM manipulation code, this isolate a script attribute has to be set as false. Okay, so this basically this indicates that you are enabling you are going to write some DOM manipulation code, so that system will take care of your code. Fine guys, thanks for watching, and if you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. It's really help and motivate me to make a video on the different topic as well. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'll be talking about few best practices code which you have to follow, right? I'll be not talking about in details, but yeah, so something you have to keep in mind while developing your code, right? So that one of these, yeah, that means enclose the code inside your functions. We should avoid writing a code outside of the function. So it will work, sometime it will work, but sometime it will give you the unexpected result, right? So as of now, guys, let me just recap it from this module, from this one, sorry, from this client side scripting design and processing. This module, basically I have explained, that means we have to minimize our server calls, right? We can use a g underscore as scratchpad variable to get the data from the server side, right? And the third one which I have explained, that means if you are using a set value for the reference field, then display field value you have to use it as a third parameter. If you are not using, I have already explained, that means what it will happen, right? This is the best way we have to write a code. If you are writing without a third parameter, then definitely it will leads to the performance issue, correct. And the fourth one which I have explained, that avoid writing a DOM manipulation. Similar way, this is the one, this is the very important one, guys, because if you are writing a very big logic and you have written your code outside the function, then definitely it will lead to unexpected result. I have seen many cases. On that case, you have to do the troubleshooting, you have to do the debugging. It will take you lots of time. So best practices, if you are writing a code, you have to make sure, that means you are writing your variable inside the function. Like, see, this is the bad example I have written, guys, like a state field value, it is outside of the function. So this is our function which we will be using, and whatever the logic you are writing, that is the different things, but you have written the state outside of the function. So this is not recommended, guys. This is the bad coding practice, I can say, right? And the good example here it is, that means you should keep this outsider variable inside the function, then so that it will be not accessible from the outside of your function. let's say two to three functions are written in the same client script, and all three functions are using the same variable, and in two different function you are updating that a state value also, right? Let's take the one scenario, right? It might be possible, right? So on that case, what it will give is, let's say your first function will run and it will update from 6 to 7, and you are checking that a state should be 6 in the second function. So that will give that will not execute, right? Because your condition is getting fault. Then you will be saying, hey, I have just given the static value a state is equal to 6, but still it is not executing my code. What is happening? You have to do the troubleshooting, and you will find, oh my god, I have set it the value from 6 to 7 inside one function, so that is getting executing first. So its a state is becoming from 6 to 7. That's why my second function is not getting executed. So but this will take a lots of time. I'm not this is the very smallest script you can easily identify. Just think about the very big logic you are writing, you have a 50 lines of code and 100 lines of code. Over there it would be very difficult to do the troubleshooting. Fine. I hope, guys, you understood regarding this module that what is the best practices when we can choose what kind of a script we can write, and we have to avoid the server call. All those steps we have covered in this module, right? Our next module is, guys, in next upcoming video, I'll be talking about the client script. This is the very very important. Now till here I'm expecting that you have now basic understanding about the client side code, how we can do so. Now this next video is going to be a very very important, because this is the script which we will be using on 90% case to write our code, or write our logic in client side scripting. Fine, guys. So don't miss our next video. And yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching. If you have not like and subscribe my channel, please do so. It's really motivate me to make a video on the different topics. Thank you. Thanks, you guys.